Hi, I am Clara Rose, and this is Influence Matters, the show where each week I share tips, tricks, tools, resources, hacks, whatever you want to call them, to help influence builders just like you to strategically and intentionally cultivate influence. Because we know that influence will organically generate leads for our business, ministry, cause, brand, whatever it is that we're doing, right? So that is why we're here today, to get some knowledge about building influence. Of course, before we get started, I have to do all of the tidy stuff that needs to be done and say thank you to our show sponsor, which is Rosedale Publishing. And they specialize in business books for professionals and entrepreneurs to help them to generate influence and grow more leads for their business. So thank you to Rosedale Publishing. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Tampa Bay Multimedia and the fine folks over at WeBeam TV, where we are today, for making this show possible. Now, I have a great topic for you today, but before we get started, I just wanted to share something personal with you. Business personal, I guess, really. So the last couple of weeks have been crazy. 12-hour days, doing way more than I normally do. So I've been a part of 2 summits. If you are interested in having a look at either of those, there's probably at least 60 experts sharing their expertise on these summits. I'm just a short little piece in each of them, but of course you can find information about those on the Influence Matters page. Links to where you can find where I spoke and where you can get all the goodies for all of the other speakers. So you probably aren't going to find another place where you can get so much great free content from experts. So do check those out. So those were a lot of work the last couple of weeks leading up to, I think today is the last. I'm on the Purpose to Profit Summit today. It rolled out today for mine anyway. And then I am in the middle of a conference this week, and I took a class. So 6 to 9 at night class all week. So, wow, it's been crazy. So 12-hour days, I'm a crazy person. And I hear you saying, Clara, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? Why are you being such a crazy person? Why? Because I'm building influence, right? I'm building influence. I'm a part of the summits. They take lots of time and energy, but I'm building influence, right? Because I need influence too. I need to build my own business, my, not ministry or cause, but my brand. I'm building it. So I do that because influence matters. So a couple of summits, a part of some, I'm learning, of course, during the conference and the class that I'm taking. My brain is overflowing with all the learning that I'm doing, but I am also making connections with other people. So connection with other influencers, other people who are my peers, and then guess what else? I'm getting a connection to their audience, right? So super impactful, really great for growing influence. And I'm here to say it's a part of what I preach, right? Speak, lead, because influence matters. So if I messed up today, you'll know it's because my brain totally full up. So, but let's get started because I've got a good one for you here today and we don't have much time. All right. You know that we always start with our question of the week. So a future influence builder asked me this, Clara, I'm really excited about Influence University, but for now I have a question. Every week you talk about being strategic. Can you tell us what you mean by that? Sure, future influence builder. I am strategic by nature. So it comes super easy to me. If it makes sense strategically, I'm all over. If it doesn't fit, then that bothers me. But what I'm really talking about is intentional. So when I say strategically and intentionally, so strategically is kind of the planning piece of it, and intentionally is doing it on purpose. The reason for my craziness the last 2 weeks, I'm doing something on purpose, strategically and intentionally. But let's look at what I mean by being strategic within your business, ministry, cause, brand. Let's talk about that kind of strategic, a strategic mindset around those pieces. Okay, let's jump in and get started on that. First thing is I'm going to give you just a quick overview of the 3 things that we're going to talk about. So these are the 3 steps to developing a strategic mindset. It's your goals and your mission. Your vision and your mission. Oop, there's my tired brain. Your goals and your implementation, and then measure, monitor, and adjust. Those are the 3 phases. So let's go through them one at a time as quickly as we can in the time we have left. Okay, so first we're going to talk about vision. What is vision? So vision is really about the future. So vision of the future of your business, ministry, cause, brand. Not where you are today, but your vision for the future of your business, ministry, or cause. Because visions change over time. For instance, we're in an interesting season with the COVID thing, right? Good for some, bad for others, but it's changed. We're doing things differently, and some people have had to pivot, and we talked a couple of weeks ago about pivoting so that we could thrive, and people's visions changed. How they viewed what their company is going to look like in the future has changed. So really it's about getting connected with that. If you do not have a good vision statement or vision, this is absolutely the place to start in your business. Step 1, if you do not know what the end result should look like, then you kind of are like the hamster on the wheel, right? Just going in circles and it doesn't really matter, right? You're not going to go anywhere anyways. You're just going to spin like that poor little hamster. So get a clear vision of what you want your business to look like down the road, the vision of the future. I just want to point out really quickly, I have it sitting right here. If you have not read it yet, amazing book. One of my mentors actually gave it to me as a gift. I would have purchased it myself had I done it quickly enough, but he sent it to me, and it's by Michael Hyatt. It's the vision-driven leader, and it's about getting that vision in place and being driven by your vision. I highly recommend it. I'm not getting anything for promoting. I'm just saying get your copy because it's gold. Okay. All right, let's move on from vision to our next step. Mission. So your mission is what you want to accomplish towards your vision. So it's not a vague idea, but it's a clear plan about who you want to serve and how you want to serve them. So it's kind of like your compass for your brand or your business. It gives you something to tie to. It's just kind of like your vision in that decisions that you make are going to be based on your vision and your mission, right? If it doesn't play into what your vision for the future of your company looks like, or it doesn't tie into the mission that you're on to save the world, change the world, whatever it is you're on a mission to do, it doesn't fit, right? It doesn't fit, and you're wasting time and resources if you chase after it. I see people do it all the time. It's that squirrel thing, right? Ooh, I think they call it shiny object syndrome, and it's super easy if you love tools. And if you know me, you know I'm a tool geek and I love tools. So I'm always checking out new things thinking, ooh, look what this one can do, and ooh, look what that one can do. But you have to be careful and rein yourself in because they can derail you from the mission that you're on. My mission, I know really clearly what it is. I know what I want my business to look like in the future. And I'm really clear that my vision is to help entrepreneurs and professionals just like you to build influence by writing and publishing their book, Speaking on the stage, maybe that means you have to have some help with your signature speech. Getting in some leadership roles, because influence matters, right? Speak, lead. That's my mission. Do you know what your mission is? If you don't, spend some time getting clear. Otherwise, you're in a world of hurt because you're that little hamster on a wheel doing stuff that isn't going to make a difference, isn't going to move you towards your goals. Okay. Before we move to the next segment, I want to throw in a savvy tweet for you. So you can hop over to Clara Rose Chat, where you can always find me on social media, and tweet this out. Vision is what you want the future to look like. Mission is who you serve and how you serve them. Your brand needs both. Over at Clara Rose Chat. It's true, your brand needs both. Okay, that was number 1. Let's move on to number 2. Really quickly, goals with purpose. Each goal should lead you closer to the vision of your brand. They're like stepping stones on a path. So this is the start of your strategic plan, if you will. This is the pieces of your plan. So I like to say use savvy goals. Those are strategic, actionable, values-based, visionary, you-focused goals. Not wild about the old one, the one that people always use, the SMART goals, so I made up my own. But goals are the stepping stones that are going to get you to that vision that you have in mind. So you're going to need to set some good goals for yourself. Goals that are actionable, goals that are visionary, goals that are going to get you where you want to go. There's lots of help out there for setting good goals. If you need some help with that, absolutely find someone to help you with it if you struggle with that. Otherwise, it's really just about being intentional and setting those goals. All right, moving right along. Beyond goals, I need to talk about the implementation. So implementation is really about action. So great plans fail all the time and goals are never reached because people don't have a plan for implementation. Act. Action changes things. You need to take action if you want something to be different than it is today. So you can either plan to act or you can plan to react, right? Because things are going to happen. So either plan on the actions that you want to take, or you'll spend all of your time in reaction mode, reacting to things. So implementation, of course, is the really important side of that equation right there. You're going to have the goals, and most of us as professionals, I think, really do have goals. Even if you don't have them on paper, which there's a lot of science that shows that if you get them on paper, you actually write them down, and I'm going to recommend you actually use a pen and paper, which... No, not a pen and paper. I'm saying yes, a pen and paper. There's some connection that happens when we physically write something down. It's why journaling is so effective. It's just a great way to make a good connection with those things. But you have to take it beyond just the written goal, right? You have to have an implementation plan for each of those. So you see how they're building on top of each other? So we have our vision and our mission, what it's going to look like, who we serve and how we serve them. Now our goals to get us there and the implementation process that it's going to take to achieve those goals. Now we have some sort of a plan coming together, right? Okay, another really quick savvy tweet for you. Hop on over and say hello to me while you're there over at Clara Rose Chat. Listen to this. Visualize the future of your brand. Define the goals toward that vision and create a timeline for implementation. And boom, now you have a strategic plan. So that should totally demystify it for you, right? People are like, ooh, I need to hire a professional to help me with my strategic plan. Well, there's nothing wrong with hiring a strategist to help you out. Sometimes you need the clarity that someone else can bring to the equation that you might not have on your own. But I know that if you sat down, you could visualize what you want the future of your brand to look like. I know that you can define the goals that are going to get you toward that vision. And I know that you can create a timeline to help you implement them, right? So there you have it. There's a strategic plan. It's the basics, of course, but that's enough to get you headed in the right direction. And then if you find some bumps along the way, absolutely find yourself a strategist who can come in and help you to iron some of those pieces out. There's no shame in asking for help. I personally always have a mentor. Always. I just today hired another one, right? Because guess what? I'm not a specialist in everything. I know what I'm a specialist in, right? If you want to write a book, I can help you with that. If you want to get on a stage and speak and have a signature speech, I can help you with that. If you want to step into leadership and get some influence from it, I can help you with that. I can't help you with some of the marketing pieces because guess what? That's not my specialty. But there are brilliant people out there that they do that. In fact, I have somebody in a few weeks I'm going to bring on who talks about marketing. He's brilliant, a brilliant marketer. He's going to come in and share some really good, juicy tips with us that are going to blow you away. So be watching for him to show up. Marketing's super important, right? That's what gets our message out to the world about who we are. Right? I run into this frequently. People say, well, I have this great service, or I have this great program, or I have this great product, and nobody's buying it. Well, do they know it exists? Well, perhaps not. How are you marketing it? Now, I'm not the market expert, right? The marketing expert, but I know somebody who is. And so I'm just here to say, I'm glad you have a strategic plan in place, or I'm glad that you will have a strategic plan in place if you don't have one yet. But seek out those individuals that can help you with those pieces that you're not the professional in, right? That's why they're there. Seek out somebody who can help you to make good choices about getting it out there so the world does know about what you do. And then I sound like I'm probably, beating a dead cat here, but a book about what you do is an awesome way to let the world know what you do. Now, you're still going to need a marketing professional, right, or PR person to help you get it out to the world, but getting it out of your head is step one. But we're not here to talk about that today, so let's move on. Let's talk about that third piece, because I think this is where a lot of people fall down. You need to measure and evaluate your strategic plan. Right? You need to define, first of all, what success is going to look like so you actually recognize it when it's happening, or you recognize when it is not happening. And you need to be able to measure, monitor, and adjust your actions as things change, because change will happen. Things change. But if you measure, monitor, and adjust your strategy plan annually, it's going to keep you relevant, keep your plan relevant, I should say. Okay, so annually is actually not even enough, if you ask me. I like to monthly look at my strategic plan and my goals, and quarterly, and then, of course, annually. And in our household, we might be overachievers, but twice a year, we actually sit down with them and rehash them. And if you've followed me for a while, you see me doing this. So at the end of every year, which is coming up, it's a time that I always love to do. I look ahead at the next year and say, what is my theme for next year? I'm a faith-based person, so for me that in part is about praying for the direction that God would have for my life and my business. If you're not a faith-based person, then maybe you're going to be looking for what your intuition tells you, or whatever it is that guides you in your decision-making process. But we do an in-depth in our household. My husband and I both own our own business, and we spend some time getting really clear on what next year should look like. Measure, monitor, adjust. Look back at your year and say, what worked and what didn't work? Some things work better than other things. Some things are duds. Right? You think, oh, this is going to be good stuff, and you try it, and not so much. That's okay. As long as we have our finger on the pulse of what's happening, we can measure, monitor, and adjust. We know what success looks like for us. We can measure it, we can monitor it, and make adjustments when things change, because, my friends, things change. And of course, we need to be flexible and nimble in order to change with the things that change. So when I'm talking about strategic mindset, I'm really just talking about the strategic planning in your business. But here's where it becomes a mindset. I don't talk about mindset a lot, but when you work with your strategic plan for your business, this is going to happen organically. First, you're going to create or refine the strategic plan that you already have for your brand. So if you don't have one, of course, you're going to be creating one from scratch, but get that done because that's absolutely step one. And then, of course, visiting your plan monthly, quarterly, or annually so that you can measure, monitor, and make any adjustments as necessary. Over time and consistency, it's going to help you to develop that strategic mindset about your brand, right? Just because you do these 3 things doesn't mean instantly you're going to have a strategic mindset. As you continue to visit them monthly, quarterly, however, every 6 months, once a year, whatever it is that you're going to do, in time you will start to be strategic and intentional about your strategic plan. So in time it becomes a mindset. For some people it will come easily. It does for me because I'm strategic by nature. If you are not, that's okay. You can still develop a strategic mindset with time and consistency. Keep revisiting those things. Once a year, I don't think is enough, but as a bare minimum, set yourself up to once a year, revisit, measure, monitor, and adjust. Where have you come from? Where you're going? How close are you to that vision that you have for what your business is going to be in the future? How close are you to that? Have you stayed true to your mission, who you serve, and how you serve them? If you're sticking close to those things, you're likely seeing growth and success. If you're not, it can help you to pinpoint where you're being derailed and not being successful as you would like to be or should be. Okay, so let's just rehash really quickly before we run out of time. In case you missed any steps, we're going to start with our vision and our mission, getting really clear on those things. In the event that you don't have them yet, I want you to get really clear on those. And then, of course, goals and implementation, making sure that if you don't have some good solid goals with a plan to execute them, that you get that done or you get some help getting that done. I do know people sometimes struggle with that, and help is just an internet away, my friend. Lots of places you can get help on that. And then I can't stress enough the importance of the measure, monitor, and adjust stage of this. So those are your 3 steps to developing a strategic mindset. I just have a couple minutes, so I just want to nail this home to you. Not only do we do an annual, at the end of the year is when we do ours for the coming year, pick a theme for the year, things of that nature, measure, monitor, adjust, but we also every summer. So 6 months into the new year, we stop and have a look. How are we doing? Right? It's much easier to course correct, especially if it's a major course correction, 6 months in rather than at the end of the year. That's where the monthly or the quarterly, just taking the pulse of what's going on, really can save you some time and energy. Right? You're making little incremental shifts monthly or quarterly versus a 6-month in, that's a little bigger shift. But if you've waited an entire year to look at your strategic plan, to see to actually measure, monitor, and adjust, see, am I on track to where I said I was going to be? If you wait that long, it's a bigger course correction. All right, remember when we were talking a couple weeks ago about the pivot? Right? So I'm asking you to do every single month or every single quarter, stop and plant your foot, just like when you pivot in basketball. Plant your foot, see where am I now, right? And then have a look around. Do I need to pivot? Do I need to change directions and go off in another direction to stay true to my strategic plan, to stay true to my vision for the future, my mission statement of who and how I serve them, and then who I am as an entity, right? Am I sticking with my goals, my values? We didn't even talk about values today. Of course, values are a big part of our lives. Not as much for everybody, but there's certainly a place to look at your values when you're building a vision and mission statement. And I think that probably Michael Hyatt in his book talks about getting connected with your values. I'm pretty sure I read that in there. Those will actually help you form your vision and your mission statement based on your values. Okay, we are just about out of time, so I just want to say to you, if you are ready to build some influence, I can help you with that. This is my superpower. This is my wheelhouse. I am the expert that can help you with that. So hop on over to clararose.com. And you will just be able to scroll a little ways down and you'll see a place where you can hop on a call. Click and book an appointment with me. It doesn't cost you anything. I can chat with you for a few minutes, look at where you are, what you'd like to build or create, maybe talk about your book if you want to get your book published or whatever your goals are, and see if it makes sense for us to work together to help you build influence and organically generate leads for your business, ministry, or cause. And then our future influencer builder brought this up at the beginning, so I'm going to wrap up with it. Influence University, still in the coming soon because we're building it out and it takes lots of energy to build this out. For the movers and the shakers, you that are the dreamers, but the doers, those influence builders, we are creating an influencer movement just for you. And we absolutely want to invite you to join us. If you'd like to know more about when this is going to roll out, shoot me an email over at hello@clararose.com and say, I'm in, Clara, send me the information, and I'd be happy to shoot you over an email saying, thank you, you're on the list. Pop you into the list so that when things start rolling out, you will get in on the early bird stuff. Whew, okay, I'm exhausted and we are out of time today. I have to go back to the conference, but I will see you right back here next Wednesday for more good stuff. Remember to write, speak, and lead because influence matters, my friends. All right, have a great week.